Alright, in this next video we're going to take a look at Twine from a teacher's perspective. First, note that I'm connecting right now via a laptop using a web browser. It also happens that we have apps available for iOS, Android, and Windows, so teachers can do just about everything I'm going to show you from any tablet or any phone as well. So I'm going to log in here as an 8th grade teacher, and what you'll see when I first connect is that Edsby's pulling together a bunch of important information for me. Across the top here, we are seeing school-wide news and announcements, and these are pushed out to every staff member, every student, and every parent. So we can come in and we can take a look at what's going on in the school and get that really quickly and easily. Along the left side, I have the classes that I'm teaching, and note that as a teacher, I don't have to do anything to put these things in place. In the middle, you'll see I have some groups, and these are things like our staff-only group, where I get updates from the head of school. I can have things here as well like teams and activities and clubs where I might be coaching. And then over here on the right is a personalized calendar, and this rolls up all of the school-wide events along with any events and activities across all of my classes and all my groups. So right away this is providing some really useful information. Now as a teacher, I'm going to spend most of my time is in classes, so why don't I go ahead and take a look here. And here, for example, is my English 8 class. When I open up a class, what's front and center, and what people notice right away here in the middle is what we call the class feed. And often people will comment that this looks a lot like Facebook. That's not an accident, right? One of the reasons that Edsby is so effective is that it works a lot like social networks, social tools that teachers and students and parents are already using. So this not only reduces our training time, but it's actually one of the keys to why Edsby actually gets used, whereas a lot of other parent portal solutions and other kinds of tools really don't catch on as well. So if I have information that I want to share with my class, right, maybe I've got a photo I took of a class activity, right, it's as simple as coming in and saying, here's the class reading the play we're working on. And maybe I'm going to come here and I'm going to browse my computer, I'm going to browse Google, or maybe even take video or photo right off my phone if I happen to be coming through. And so here are my kids reading the play, and I go ahead and share, and really that's it. It is that easy. And as soon as I've done this, now my students are able to see this, my parents can log in, they can actually see what the kids are doing. And it's amazing to me how having that picture and getting a sense of the kinds of activities, seeing their kids smiling and doing things that they enjoy in class, right away it builds a connection that is sort of hard to reach in other ways. Similarly, suppose I've got a video from Khan Academy with math, or something on YouTube that I want to share, right? So here's a video that might be relevant to my English class about hero's journey. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say, here's that video, and this is a great overview of the hero's journey. And again, I'm going to go ahead and post this, and it's right there so my kids can hit play and they can watch it and they can ask questions and comment on it and discuss it. And again, it's no more difficult than sharing something on my Instagram feed. So try to make it as easy as possible. And what's really nice is that really we're not having to do any extra work. This is stuff that I'd want to share with my kids anyway, and now my parents have access to it. So we're looping them in without having to put an extra burden on me as the teacher. So that to me is really, really powerful. There are a bunch of nuances here that are really helpful too, such as the way that items that I share, they're automatically placed here in the library for easy access. You'll notice that I can take content and I can do things like pin it. So if this is something really important, maybe it's my class syllabus and I don't want it to get lost, I can pin that to the side so that it doesn't get lost in the feed here. So all kinds of sort of nice nuances that they've built in. And then you'll notice there's other kinds of content that I can share. So maybe we are having a guest speaker come in, and that's going to happen tomorrow or Monday. And so I want to let kids know, please dress nicely and come with your questions prepared. So there's our guest speaker. Now you'll notice anything that I do that has time and date associated with it, this also gets added to the calendar. So when we roll up that calendar for our parents and our kids, and even for me, we're going to see Monday's that guest speaker, and it's right there on the calendar where they're going to see it, which is really nice. Let's take a look as well what happens when I begin doing things like handing out homework. So maybe we have a summary paper that my kids are going to do in Hero's Journey unit. That sounds good. And we'll have that due on Tuesday next week. And notice I've got a bunch of different grade schemes. All this gets customized during our implementation process. So if in your early grades you use things like excellent, good, satisfactory, needs improvement, you've got different kinds of terminology, all that gets customized. For simplicity, I'm just going to make this a 10-point paper, and I'm going to go ahead and let my kids know, and my parents, that this is happening. So there it is, and I've told them about the paper that's due. Because I made it part of our Hero's Journey unit, that actually becomes part of this course plan, which I can reuse next year or share with other teachers. We take that, and you'll notice that now is also in our calendar here for next week. That's going to happen. And most importantly, we're also going to take this, we're going to put it in the grade book, because at some point my kids are going to hand in that paper, and I need to be able to grade it. And the grade book is incredibly powerful and flexible. But again, for simplicity, I'm going to come in here, I'm going to put in 10, 9, 8, whatever it is that my students have earned. You'll notice that if I want to, we really do want this to be a communication tool. So we can come in here to this view, and I can come in and give comments like, great work, whatever it is I might need to do. Maybe Lacey, there's some reason she was out sick and missed a lot of this. Maybe I don't want to include that one in the average, so I'm going to drop that from the average, or I'll mark it excused, whatever it is that I need to do. So just making it really easy. And when I'm ready for my parents and my students to see this, I just hit the share button. And at this point now, my parents and students have been notified there's a new grade, and they can come in and see how they're doing. So again, doing the things that I as a teacher need to do every day anyway, but making it visible so that my parents know what's going on with the kids, and they've got this right here. So that's a big piece of what we're doing. In terms of structured data, another really common and easy piece is the attendance, where I can come in here and I can say, yeah, my kids showed up today. Maybe Sammy was late and Sally was absent today. And when I've taken my attendance, I just hit the Share with Office button, and that's done. So again, making it really, really quick and easy to do these things as a teacher. So last, as a teacher, there's some times when I do need to communicate with individual students or parents. So Edsby makes that really easy also. In each class, you'll notice that I have this student panel down here on the side. And what this allows me to do is, first of all, right, I can come over here, and here's one of my kids, and you'll notice I can just send a message right here to Palmer. And what's nice is that that message is delivered right here inside Edsby. There's good oversight, there's clarity on this. We can send notifications out also if we want to. So that's easy. But what about parents? You'll notice another thing that I've got here is what we call a student panorama. And the panorama is available to all school administrators plus any teachers who work with a given student. So if I need to get in touch with Palmer's parents, you'll notice right here I've got all their phone numbers, or I can even send a message right from Edsby. And again, we're going to send it to their Edsby mailbox and also send a notification so that the parents get an email or a pop-up on their phone so that they know that the teacher is trying to get in touch with them, which is really nice. Even more powerful though, notice while I'm here that as a teacher I can see how Palmer is doing in all of his other classes. So I see his running average in his other courses. I can see here on the right some different alerts that we've got. I can see Palmer's schedule and where he's supposed to be today. And then the most powerful thing here, right in the middle, is what we call our shared observations. So again, this page is only visible to our staff, either administrative staff or teachers that Palmer is working with. So you'll notice actually here our school principal has posted an updated IEP. So maybe this is important for me to know because I'm one of his teachers, and maybe I've been using some of these new strategies and I want to make a comment on this. I've noticed that Palmer is doing a great job staying focused this week, or whatever it is that I might need to say here, right? These new interventions seem to really be helping, and I can share that. And now again, this is part of the record for Palmer, so all the other folks that are working with him know what's happening, what's working well, what's working not, right? This is, to me, one of the really innovative and most powerful things that we can do is share with our colleagues what's going on with our kids. So hopefully this has given you a good sense. There's a lot more detail we could go into, but in terms of kind of the basics of what as a teacher I would do, hopefully this gives you a good sense of how we can make a lot more information visible, make it easier for teachers to share information with parents and students without adding a lot of work to them. And again, to me, this is critical toward the goal of serving our students better, as well as keeping parents happy and in the loop and knowing what's going on in the class. So thank you. In our next video, we'll take a look at how parents experience Edsby.